Welcome to Heroes vs. Hordes. You just finished the tutorial, but you're stuck asking, now what? And I was right there too, spending orbs on F-tier heroes, leveling the wrong talents, and wasting time and gems on resources that just didn't matter. To make sure that doesn't happen to you, I've put together a blueprint for beginning your journey into Heroes vs. Hordes. You'll power up faster, unlock better gear sooner, and just have a lot more fun playing HVH. By the way, I'm Kolz. I'm a high-level HVH player and part of a top 10 guild. I've put over 8,000 runs into this game, and I've spent the last 4 months helping new players avoid costly mistakes and get better at the game. So in this video, we're going to tackle the biggest early game questions I get asked all the time. Things like, what's the best hero early in the game? Where should I spend resources like hero orbs, coins, and scrolls? What's a good pet? What gear and weapons should I use? How do I spend gems? And how do you spend money in this game if you're so inclined? But for now, pull up a chair and take some notes as you become the hero who truly mastered the Horde. The most common question I get, and that everybody asks basically everywhere, is what hero should I use early in the game? The tutorial will start you out with Arcane Mage and then very quickly give you the option between her and the Knight. The clear choice throughout the early game, and actually for most of the game, is Knight. Knight is not only a starter hero, he just so happens to be one of the better heroes in the game, which is a great thing for you. His big advantage over the Arcane Mage early in the game is that his weapon attack can hit any number of Horde, while the Arcane Mage, her projectiles can only hit one Horde at a time. Most of Heroes vs. Hordes is clearing out a whole ton of Horde, and so you need to be able to hit as many as you can at once. You'll encounter other free-to-play heroes along the way, but Knight is easily the best of them, so don't feel rushed into getting any other heroes. You'll get Pirate Queen for free after logging in for a month, you'll grab Fire Wizard I think after about 7 days, and you earn Blade Master for completing the prologue. Knight's better than all of them. You'll also see that you can get some heroes like Dark Ranger and Frost Mage for gems. These heroes will not help you out in the early game, and so I recommend saving your gems for something else we'll get to later. Just know you'll eventually get them, and they'll help complete your roster, or your whole set of heroes, and make everyone else stronger. But that's in the future. For right now, we're going to focus on leveling up Knight and making him as strong as he can be in the early game. But how do you do that? Well, every time you beat a chapter, you're given resources. You use those resources to invest in your heroes and make them stronger. So let's go through how to use all of these resources in the early game. After completing a chapter, which is what you call a level in Heroes vs. Hordes, you're rewarded 7 different resources: coins, hero orbs, dust, scrolls, keys, runestones, and gems. Each one of these resources has a purpose in making your hero stronger. Coins are used across all points in the game to help with leveling, but are particularly helpful for talents early in the game. Talents make all of your heroes stronger, and we'll take a look at them in a little bit. Hero orbs are used to level up one hero at a time. As heroes hit higher levels, they get access to powerful skills, ultimates, and upgrades. Dust can be transformed into jewels. Jewels are the least important early game resource, so I won't go into a lot of detail here, but I have a whole guide dedicated to them if you're interested. The big thing to know is not to merge jewels until you read my guide. Scrolls are used to upgrade the slot for gear. So for example, you can use scrolls to upgrade your Knight helm. That will upgrade every helm, not just the Knight set. So always use your scrolls when you can. There is no downside. Keys are exchanged in the shop to get more pieces of gear. You merge gear to level it up. Unlike jewels, you should always merge your gear in the blacksmith. There's no downside to merging them, but whatever you do, don't exchange them. Pretend that tab doesn't exist. Runestones can be spent in the portal to gain star shards for heroes. These are used to star up a hero and give them access to stronger abilities and skills. Lastly, the rarest and most versatile resource in the game is gems. These are used for special purposes throughout the entire game. I'll go into great detail on how to use gems a bit later, but know that you should do everything possible to save them and not spend them early in the game. Okay, so we established that Knight is going to be your early game hero. Therefore, spend your hero orbs to make him stronger. Next, to start ramping up your damage, turn in the keys you collect from beating chapters to the shop in order to get new gear. You can merge 3 pieces of the same type and rarity to get to the next level. For example, 3 common Knight helms turn into 1 great Knight helm. Once you get that new great helm, you use scrolls to level it up and make it stronger. Again, those are slot specific, so use them right away. After that, Use any dust you collect to turn them into jewels in the shop. Jewels will eventually go into your gear and make you stronger, but it can take a while to get there. I have a full guide to jewels in the description to help you along. You'll unlock hero star levels by turning in runestones at the portal. Higher star levels mean stronger heroes with new skills, but hero shards take a long time to grind. But no, it's worth it in the long term. And lastly, you've been using coins along the way to help with gear leveling and hero leveling. Well, the most important early use of coins are in talents. The talent system is a permanent boost to all of your hero's power. Each time you buy a talent, a slot machine appears with 3 slots. Here's how you're going to choose which talent to pick from those 3. First, pick the highest rarity talent. Then, if they're all common talents, pick damage until you have about 30 points in it. At that point, if they're still all common, pick anything but damage and health. So something like move speed or armor or experience. After you've completed all of those other common talents, then you can put more points into damage. And finally, health. It's harder to get these higher rarity talents, so you always want to pick the highest rarity one offered to you. And then, while you want some damage early in the game, it stops scaling at a certain point, and that's when you switch over to those other talents in the common tier. Lastly, health is the least valuable because you shouldn't be getting hit by Horde. I have a full guide to talents in the description that lets you go into more detail. But after you're done leveling up some talents, you'll have one other important use for coins: pets. Pets are one of the best investments you can make. One active pet comes with you onto the battlefield to do damage and fight the Horde. Early in the game, pets are essentially your strongest weapon. You gain access to pets from the Pets tab. Hatched from eggs, they have their own currencies for leveling up. Again, I have a whole guide on pets I linked to in the description, so I'll just go over the core concepts now. You want to work on getting one main active pet leveled up. That will typically be your highest rarity pet. However, early in the game, a common tier snail pet or a great tier earth striker are very good choices because they will continue to be useful late into the game. If you luckily hatch a rare pet early, like a pyrocrankin or an emberpaw, those should be your main pet. Run as many expeditions as you can each day to collect resources to power up your main pet. Resources will snowball as you start collecting them. After your main pet reaches level 100 or 200, you can go back and level up 2 other pets to level 100 to become passive. Passive pets enhance the damage of your main pet. The big trade-off early in the game is just deciding how to spend your coins between pets and talents. While I would say try and do both in parallel, I would prioritize talents over pets as best you can. Pets may have a more immediate effect, but investing in talents is better long-term for increasing the power of all of your heroes. But honestly, there's no perfect way to do this, so just do whatever feels right to you. Both are going to be a grind, but in Heroes vs. Hordes, every grind counts, and you'll slowly get stronger as you improve both your talents and your pets from coins. Okay, so now that you understand the basic concept of resources in the game, let's actually go play the game and get those resources from beating chapters. The goal of Heroes vs. Hordes, besides having fun, is to beat every chapter in the game. There are 390 normal mode chapters, 390 hard mode chapters, and 280 nightmare mode chapters. You, young hero, just want to concentrate on beating normal mode to start off. Beating chapters in normal mode will do 2 things. 1, it unlocks new events and new game modes, and number 2, it's how you get the resources you need in order to become stronger as a hero. There are a dozen or so event modes that get unlocked as you beat normal mode chapters, but an important early one is reaching chapter 41 to unlock hard mode. Now, don't be scared of hard mode. It's just normal mode with slightly stronger Horde, but much better rewards. It has a 25% silver key chance and a 5% gold key chance whenever you complete a run. That's in addition to the typical end of run rewards, like gems, hero orbs, dust, and coins. You invest these resources back into your hero and gear in order to get stronger, in order to beat more chapters. And there you have a nice little loop. It's important to note that adventure mode scales off of the difficulty of your progression in normal mode and hard mode. So the lesson there is don't push too hard too fast. But before we get into that, how do you actually beat chapters? Well, that's where gear and weapons are going to come into play. You give your hero weapons and gear in order to beat the Horde. You will start to earn gear by exchanging silver and gold keys in the shop. You equip this gear to make your hero stronger. While early in the game, you typically want to run the highest tier gear you have, there are gear sets that synergize well to make everything even stronger. I have in mind 3 different builds you can do early in the game. There's your max damage build, your max defense build, and then your farming build. I'll go over farming in detail in a bit, so let's just start off with the most common build, your max damage build. The max damage build consists of a rogue helm, a rogue chest, ranger boots, rogue gloves, rogue amulet, and rogue ring. The biggest increase to your damage comes from the cooldown stat. This stat allows your hero to attack with their weapons more frequently, up to a cap of 90%. It scales somewhat exponentially, so any increase is a nice spike in your damage. That means any gear with cooldown is a win. But the rogue set also adds critical strike chance. Critical strikes do 2 times the damage, but with a random chance. Increasing your critical strike chance, therefore, increases your damage potential. While this is technically the max damage build, you should still typically run your highest tier gear, even if it doesn't fit in the build. So, go with a rare wizard helm over a great rogue helm, even if you lose the set bonus. Another viable option is a fully defensive build built around knight gear. I'm talking literally knight helm, knight chest, knight boots, knight gloves, knight amulet, and knight ring. These all add defensive abilities like armor and healing. For most of Heroes vs. Hordes, it's a risky strategy to let the horde hit you. Ideally, you want to clear them out before they get close. But early in the game, this can work because they don't hit you very hard. You can combine this defensive build with its namesake, the knight hero you've been working on building up, and a particular set of weapons to beat early chapters. So let's talk about those weapons. As you progress through a run, you collect experience orbs to level up. When you level up, you're greeted with the weapon shop. The weapon shop will offer you 2 types of items, weapons and tomes. Weapons generally do damage, while tomes amplify the damage of weapons. There's even a special interaction between the two called weapon evolution, in which a tome actually allows you to evolve a weapon into something stronger. Evolved weapons do a tremendous amount more damage than their base weapons. You can pause a run to look in the Evolutions tab to understand how weapons and tomes interact. You will eventually memorize this over time, and there are icons on the tomes that match to the weapons they evolve, but that screen is always there to help. In order to evolve a weapon, you need to level that weapon up to level 5 in the middle of a run, get the tome, and then evolve the weapon. Like most everything else so far, I have a guide in the description on how to get these optimal weapons during a run. The weapon builds I'm going to share with you now create optimal synergies between your gear, weapons, and tomes to give you the best chance at beating a chapter. There will be 2 primary weapon builds for you early in the game. The first weapon set is max damage, which you run in combo with your max damage gear. The weapon priority, or the weapons you want to get first in a run, are your hero weapon, followed by Dragon's Breath, Bomb, Fire Orbs, and Chain Lightning. You then get Cooldown Tome, Area Tome, Duplicator Tome, Damage Tome, and Critical Tome. Those tomes will allow you to evolve every weapon in your build into the stronger version. Furthermore, they each amplify the damage of every other weapon in the build, hence the max damage build. Dragon's Breath will be your main source of damage for a long time early in the game. The key is to literally spin your hero in circles so that the flames hit every horde. It's a little silly, but it's very effective. The second weapon set is defensive, which you run with your defensive gear I mentioned earlier. I call this a flagpole build because the idea is you get so tanky you can stand still like a flagpole and just let the horde bash their heads into. But note, this only works with the knight early in the game and it's a little bit risky. The weapon priority of this build is your hero weapon, followed by Dragon's Breath, Divine Aura, Bomb, and Fire Orbs. You then get Armor Tome, Health Regeneration Tome, Area Tome, Duplicator Tome, and Damage Tome. Armor will reduce horde damage, and evolving Divine Aura into Vampire Aura will heal you. That combo allows the knight to stand still and handle anything the horde throw at him. But this strategy can be risky, again, because you're letting the horde hit you. And there will come a point when even this risky strategy won't let you clear a chapter. It's at that point when you have to go back and start farming previous levels in order to get stronger. Farming is vitally important in Heroes vs. Hordes. You will get stuck in your progression where you can't clear the next chapter. It's at that point you have to go back to a previous chapter in the game and beat it over and over and over again. That's called farming, and it's not uncommon to have to farm certain chapters for up to a week. Farming will let you collect more keys, hero orbs, scrolls, dust, and coins in order to make your hero stronger. After you hit certain breakpoints in your damage, for example maybe a higher talent level or a new piece of gear, you can then go back and start clearing out the previous chapters you couldn't beat. Like everything I've talked about so far, I have a whole detailed guide to farming you can check out in the description. But the important thing to know is that you want to farm hard mode and not normal mode as often as you can. That extra key chance in hard mode makes a really big difference in getting enough keys in order to upgrade your gear to the next level. You make farming even more efficient by using noble gear. Noble gear sacrifices damage for improved resources at the end of the run. It increases things like the number of hero orbs and dust you'll collect after you beat a chapter. So an example farming run is to put on all noble gear, go back to hard mode chapter 1, and just beat it again and again and again. That will provide you with the needed resources to increase the level of your heroes and your pets and your gear. You take the same weapons farming that you would during a normal run, so it's a good time to practice strategies for getting optimal weapons and learning how they all interact. After you hit those increased damage breakpoints, you can go back to clearing out regular chapters, which will now be easier because of your increased power. But you don't want to progress too far too fast in normal mode and hard mode. Each time you beat a chapter there, it makes adventure mode harder. And so to make sure that you haven't gone too far, you can actually start progressing in your noble gear. I know it sacrifices damage, but if you can still beat a chapter with noble gear, that means adventure mode will be much easier. But wait, what the heck is adventure mode? As you continue to progress in normal mode and hard mode, you'll unlock 10 different game modes in Heroes vs. Hordes. Each one is different and each one's a lot of fun in its own way. Try to complete as much of arena and dungeons and boss brawl as you can. A lot of those game modes are targeted towards later stage players, so if you can't beat them all, that's fine, and I have guides for each to help you along the way. However, there's no harm in trying them out, so give it a shot. But for now, I want to focus on the 3 most important game modes besides normal mode. The one we've already talked about and gone over is hard mode, and you're going to use that for farming and progressing. The other 2 important early game modes are adventure mode and guild mission. I'm going to tackle guild mission first. The guild mission is a 6 out of 7 day weekly event that requires you to use a ticket each day in order to fight the Horde. You work together as a guild to get as many points as you can. The more points your guild gets, the more guild tokens you receive at the end of the week. You use those tokens in the guild exchange for a very solid set of rewards. I'll leave the details of the guild mission to the guides you can find in the description, but no, the most important part of the guild mission is joining an active guild. Finding a guild where everyone does the event and chats makes the game 10 times more fun. Don't be afraid to leave a dead guild each week in search of a live one. And in the same vein, hop on Discord or Reddit and join the community. I know it's a single player game, but playing it with other people makes it a lot more fun. So next up is adventure mode. Adventure mode tasks you with saving a hero who has been imprisoned 40 stages away. It's your goal to rescue that hero within a 30-day time period, free them from their prison, and add them to your ranks of heroes. Each stage in this game mode is a 5-minute test of survival that offers rewards. There are no waves, it's just a 5-minute countdown. Clear 40 stages within 30 days and you get the ultimate reward, a new hero. And this is important. It only costs 1,300 gems to reach that hero if you begin the adventure at the beginning of the month. Joining mid-month will make your first adventure a little bit harder, but it's still worth getting to the hero if you can get there in under 3,000 gems, which is like 8 or 9 days into the month. I have a guide on adventure mode on how to efficiently save the hero, but know that this is the single best way to get heroes in the game and something you should always do. But this is the first time I've mentioned gems since I promised to talk about it earlier, and questions around how to appropriately use gems were the second most common set of questions I've gotten over the last 4 months. So let's jump into that now. Gems are the single most versatile currency in the game. You can use them to do literally anything you want. You will be collecting gems from a variety of resources in very small amounts. Add them all together, and over the course of a month, you're going to get somewhere between 3,600 gems and 4,000 gems. As a rough rule of thumb, try to only use gems to get heroes or weapons. That makes the most important part of gems understanding where not to spend them. Do not use them on keys, jewels, reshuffles, revives, hero resets, talent spins, pet expeditions, guild events, eggs, or lucky draw past 1 spin. When in doubt, don't use gems. I know that's kind of crappy to hear, but you're not really going to understand the value of certain items in this game until you've been playing for a little while. So early in the game, just stockpile as many as you can, and you'll get to use them eventually. The one exception here is Adventure Mode. You do want to buy the necessary tickets in order to reach the hero if you can do it for under 3,000 gems. Know that long term, that's basically the best deal you can get on getting new heroes in the game. Past that, you'll also use gems to acquire special weapons and heroes from special events over the course of playing the game. Those are very nuanced, and I have guides for several of them, so please ask questions here if you have any on what to spend gems on, because I can better answer them in detail for you than generally answer them here. Now, if you made it this far into the guide, you're generally well versed in the early game of Heroes vs. Hordes. If you've been playing for over a couple of weeks and you really like the game, then you can take the next step and start to spend real money. There's one purchase I recommend to all new players who've been playing for over a week and really love this game, and that is get the No Ads pack. Up until that point, you're basically playing a free trial, but for $20, you unlock the full game. HVH becomes 100 times more fun without the stinking ads. You won't have to put your phone down, you won't have to click on things, the game just becomes much smoother and much more fun to play. The No Ads pack unlocks basically anything you had to watch an ad for free, and after that, you don't really have to spend any more money to beat the game. You can sit back, relax, and enjoy. However, you're probably going to want to spend more money to do some more fun things. I recommend buying the permanent editions. There are two that come to mind for me. The one is the $5 Pet Expedition pack. You run so many pet expeditions in this game that one $5 value is incredibly worth it. After that, I recommend buying the Faction War Pass for either the Warriors Guild or for the Mechanist League. The Mechanist League is a bit more advanced, but the Warrior Guild will help you power up your knight much faster. Those Faction War boosts are permanent, but they're specific to the faction. And you can also buy a low value one and upgrade it over time. They'll credit you towards your higher purchase. And after those two permanent boosts, the one other recommendation I might make would be to get the Hero Pass for $10 a month. If you're playing the game a lot, this will allow you to play it even more and earn valuable resources in the process. All in, that's about $50 over the course of 1 or 2 months. If you still really like the game and you're enjoying it, I then suggest you check out my Real Money Guide, which will help you spend even more and give you a sense of what each item's value is in real money terms. But I'm telling you, all you really need to really love and enjoy HVH is the No Ads pack. Well dudes, we made it. I covered a lot of topics and said read more in the description a lot of times. At this point, you should understand how to beat the first 50 to 100 chapters in both normal mode and hard mode. You know to take Knight, invest your resources in him, and make him stronger. You know what weapons to build, and you know how completing chapters will help you progress through the game. So join a guild, get on Discord, and start saving your gems. And I'm Kolz, a high-level HVH player and part of a top 10 guild. You can find me here, on Discord, or on my website, hvhlounge.com, where you can get a full written version of this guide. If you want priority answers to your questions, you can sign up for my Patreon, where you can also become an executive producer. The executive producers of this video are Cake Invictus and Riverwind. Please subscribe if you like the video, and remember, always do your adventures! Whew! One year of knowledge packed into a very long video. Hope it helps.